The international trade landscape is undergoing significant turbulence as the new U.S. tariffs and sanctions policies ripple across the globe, drawing sharp reactions and prompting major shifts in geopolitical alliances and economic strategies. In late May, the Biden administration announced a new wave of tariffs targeting over $18 billion worth of European goods, including luxury vehicles, agricultural exports, and select consumer electronics. The move, intended to level the playing field and address what Washington calls persistent trade imbalances, was met with swift condemnation from Brussels. The European Union responded with a retaliatory tariff package aimed at American agricultural products, tech components, and liquefied natural gas, escalating tensions between two of the world's largest economies. Economists warn that this trade skirmish between the U.S. and EU could have ripple effects beyond bilateral relations. The tariffs are already beginning to disrupt global supply chains, prompting companies to reassess their logistics strategies and hedge against policy risk. Some multinationals are reportedly considering production shifts to non-aligned countries to avoid being caught in the crossfire. In a surprising development, the EU also moved to lift long-standing economic sanctions on Syria, just weeks after the U.S. quietly removed its own restrictions on specific financial transactions and humanitarian aid. European diplomats cited regional stabilization efforts and humanitarian concerns as the impetus, but analysts suggest the move may also be driven by growing European interest in post-war reconstruction contracts and access to Syria's untapped energy and infrastructure sectors. Critics argue that the decision risks legitimizing Bashar al-Assad's regime, potentially undermining international accountability efforts. Meanwhile, U.S.-China tensions continue to intensify, with both countries introducing new export controls and foreign investment restrictions. The U.S. has tightened scrutiny on Chinese investments in artificial intelligence, biotech, and semiconductor firms, citing national security concerns. China, in response, has announced its own restrictions on the export of rare earth elements and critical battery materials, resources vital to the global tech and EV industries. These moves have reignited fears of a new Cold War economic decoupling, particularly in key sectors like clean energy and digital infrastructure. Supply chain diversification is accelerating as companies race to reduce exposure to geopolitical risk. Southeast Asian nations, India, and parts of Latin America are emerging as potential beneficiaries of this realignment, attracting increased foreign investment as alternatives to China-centric manufacturing. In the midst of this shifting landscape, global institutions like the World Trade Organization, WTO, are struggling to mediate disputes with gridlock and lack of enforcement mechanisms, rendering them largely ineffective. Diplomats and trade experts warn that prolonged tariff conflicts and unilateral sanctions could lead to long-term fragmentation of the global economic order, with countries increasingly aligning based on political loyalty rather than market efficiency. As June unfolds, all eyes are on upcoming G20 talks in Tokyo, where leaders are expected to confront these mounting trade tensions head-on. Whether they can find common ground or further deepen divisions remains to be seen. This video is brought to you in part by LLC and Corporations Plus.com, your one-stop shop for all of your business setup, development coaching needs.